something in the late in that game, and you came back from the dead. Looks like you were buried, Blane. What happened to get this team back in the game and give yourself a chance in the fourth?
Yeah, I think it was just defensively wasn't really anything that we were surprised by. We just weren't getting the push up front, and we knew that we had to come out in the second half and at least tie it up, because they were just going to pack it in and keep running the football and keep eating clock. So getting that big score to Marquise was a big deal, and brought it back within it, and then they hit a big play down the stretch. That's on me. They snuck a guy in at tight end that we didn't have an adjustment for, and they hit one there. So I take blame for that, but. They did a good job rallying. It's what they did. It's what they've done for the last month. We just came a little short today.
So what can you say about this group and the season they put together? Again, you're in the game. It's tied in the fourth quarter of the state championship game. You couldn't really ask for anything more.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at how the season started, a lot of people were really questioning, what this team was made up of, and were they the real deal or not? And as we look at the season, the most memorable things for me are the times what they did to overcome adversity and what they did to battle back, and that's what really football is all about. And after that first loss, sometimes we as football coaches, we preach and we preach and we preach that football is about overcoming adversity, and then we get all pissy and upset when we lose. And we talked about the lessons, those things they can carry with them, and this playoff run has just been incredible. The way that they've been down against teams, the way that we lost a couple guys with suspensions and removal from the team, and just the way that they battled and the way that they played, and the willingness to keep playing and not quitting. They took it right down to the very last snap of their careers.
Yeah, even today, you come back twice again.
Yeah.
Down 7-0, down 14-7.
Yeah.
Big pass plays. Nice. You really pulled that one out of the back of the playbook.
Yeah,
The second touchdown.
We practiced that all week. It was something. Coach Kundig doesn't necessarily like running trick plays, but we really liked that this week, and it was such a big moment. And but good football teams come back and answer, and I think that's probably what you saw there. We scored to tie it up. They answered, we answered, and they ultimately answered last. We just couldn't get it done down the stretch.
You really kind of took their body blows in the first half. You had to be pretty happy knowing only down 7-0, considering how much they were moving the ball away.
Look at where we've been the last 2 weeks, being down 7-0 for this, or being down 7 points for this team. That's normal, and the way that they battled back and the way that they fought. Even the last 2 years, you never want to lose, but before I took over, I was an assistant for a lot of blowout losses in our final playoff game, and the last 2 years at the state level, we've got a 5-point loss and a 7-point loss. Obviously, we don't find any moral victories, but that says that the guys keep fighting until the very end. They kept battling. They battled for 48 minutes today.
Your defense did rally at the end of that first half and got you some momentum.
Yeah.
Got a fumble recovery. Got a stop on a fourth down. Talk about that and how much that played into your ability to come back.
We felt like any team we play, we feel like the 3.5 chunks, obviously that's enough to win a football game, but in high school it's tough to do that for an entire game, and they started on the 5 there, and we just felt like if we'd stop giving up the big play, we'd eventually get a momentum swing and we'd get the stop, and that's what they did, and they really did carry that into, they had the jump pass that caught us off guard, and then they had the completion down the sideline and the touchdown, but really just a few plays here and there, and that's essentially, last week we were on the other side of some of those few plays that were the big plays, and we made some plays today, but ultimately they made the last big play.
I was going to say, the senior group, it's so special, meant so much to this program, took it to another level. I know they're emotional, you're emotional. I mean, you huddled with some of them. What can you say to these guys? It hurts now, but still, they're going to look back and see what
at the end of the day, we made some mistakes. We did some things, that were sloppy at times. I made some mistakes on defense, but as long as we can all look in the mirror and say that we sold out, we gave it everything we had, that's basically just wanted to remind them of, if they can say they can look in the mirror. They beat a Whitfield champ last week that probably not many people gave us a chance against, and we talked about, even though Bishop was a 4-loss team, it's still Bishop Guilfoyle, and they took them right down to the wire, and proud of that. And I thought last year's senior group was going to be hard to replace. Each senior group, obviously, they're unique in their own ways, but this senior group took us to a place that it's never been to before. So it's going to be really hard to replace these guys.
They gave you trouble on the edges, which Price was kind of looking for them a lot.
Yeah.
You battled through that and still managed to score. But was that the problem tonight that really?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we obviously with Colby and Cage, you can look at it two ways. Number one, we've got starting offensive linemen coming back next year, or we had a couple inexperienced guys there. And when you start a sophomore at tackle, when you move on and you get better and better, I mean, just think about our Joe Mansfield. If we've got Joe against a sophomore or freshman, we like the matchup. And we knew at some point we were able to hold it in check, but they were good, and they took advantage of some matchups there up front against us.
What was that?
Coach, what might have been questioned? If you would have scored at the end there,
We were going to go for the win.
go for the win.
We felt that was our best chance to win a state championship.
Right.
What was the name of that play, the trick play? And take me through that. I want to make sure I get that right. So Chris was the quarterback.
We actually called that package JV because that's what Juniata Valley ran some Wildcat against them, and we just called it laser, just left and flip it back. And
So Chris was in the shotgun. Bryson was split right. And then where did it go from there? He handed it off to
Ashton, and then Ashton flipped it back to Bryson.
Okay.
And Bryson.
Because it was similar to that play you ran before where he came in on a jet motion.
You saw we were setting it up.
Yeah,
we were setting it up with the jet. And that's why even when we got the penalty for illegal formation, that's why we ran it again, because we were trying to set it up.
I mean, couldn't you call it the Gumtown special though? I mean, just laser.
Yeah, listen,
that's
I really
something.
didn't think. I have to fight Jason to practice trick plays, but I give him a ton of credit for doing something he doesn't necessarily like to do. Thanks, guys.